All right, so let's do the
so
regular.
You want me to? Yo, what's up? Thank you. I'll do that, and then I'll give it to you, and then you take it from there.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to another show. I'm Mario Benitez.
And I'm Jose Ortiz. And this week, we're talking comedy.
This is
Saturday Gigantic. I looked at Matt. I mean, eye contact with Matt. Like,
all right, let's do it. Yeah. Hey, welcome back to another episode. I'm Mario Benitez.
And I'm Jose Ortiz. And this week, we're talking comedy. This is Saturday Gigantic. Now, there was no... You didn't know if you were doing it.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm Mario Benitez.
And I'm Jose Ortiz. And this week, we're talking comedy.
Fuck. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Mario Benitez.
And I'm Jose Ortiz. And this week, we're talking comedy.
I fucking keep forgetting that shit. It's such a simple, stupid thing. I'm drawing blanks because he fed me it.
I did this on stage.
Yeah, he did this on stage before.
We're
all looking at him like, Saturday Gigantic.
So on this week's
Saturday. I don't know. Welcome back to another episode. Oh my God, bro. Welcome back to another episode. Oh, hold on, fuck. Thank you for hitting play on this. I'm Mario Benitez. On Saturday Gigantic. Oh my God.
Yo, Papa.
I don't know why this is so funny.
On this week's.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm Mario Benitez.
And I'm Jose Ortiz. And this week, go ahead.
All right. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Mario Benitez.
And I'm Jose Ortiz. And today, we're talking comedy.
On this week's
Saturday Gigantic.
I remember when I brought home my first guitar, everybody made jokes on me, man. They were all like, oh, look what we got here. A Latino Nirvana. Oh, look, it's Kurt Cubano himself. And that was just my mom's, man. It's tough, man. My homies were mean, too, because they were ignorant about it. Like, oh, you listen to that white boy, kill your mother, kill your father, devil shit? That rap. I had to tell them, like, yo, that's only like 2 songs, but man, like, everything else is pretty tight. People that didn't like me, they were really mean because I was into that music, you know. They used to call me gay a lot for being into it, man. So I'd get into a lot of fights with them and shit over this, man. And then I'd have to go home and like clean up my wounds and put on a fresh coating of black nail polish. And I'd just be there like, calling me gay, fuck is your problem?
Man came fresh today, right?
I do look fresh, right? What up? What's up, mommy?
Smell like a brand new box.
A box of what?
A
box of delicious.
Tim's, a Nintendo maybe. It's just that, that smell of newness.
New game smelled good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you could, get like a fragrance of that.
I wouldn't
imagine wearing that shit. That'd be a straight loser.
Oh my God, you smell just like a Nintendo cartridge from 1994.
So yeah, man, this week we're going to be talking comedy, which is something you know quite a bit about.
Yeah, learning about it, man. Still on the journey, but almost a decade now.
Yeah,
in New York City.
Yeah, it's been a while. You know what? Just to start out, because I've known you like your whole life, right? Obviously, like we're family. I just want to know, like, you've always had a big sense of humor, right? You've always been known to be like, we've clowned so many situations where I could just think about us just cracking up. We were just cracking up before this video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how I make all my friends. So
yeah.
That's just my personality.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what made you decide, like, listen, I think I'd be good on the stage. I want to take this, I want to pursue this further.
I actually, my first, like, inclination to trying it, I was, like, 22, 23. And I was like dating this girl at the time, so I was like writing things and showing her. But I just never knew. How to go about starting.
Right.
Because there was no like guide back then. Like even though it's not super long ago, but there still wasn't as many podcasts and fucking YouTube videos. Oh, go to an open mic, do all this.
Right.
So it's funny how like everything kind of just aligned, man. It all happened like. because I started doing improv and acting classes with Gustavo.
Right.
With Gustavo Ramirez.
Oh yeah, Gus.
Gus, man. Our
Shout
friend.
out to Gus.
Shout out to Gus, man. He's killing it. He's a good actor, man. Out on the West Coast right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's my homie, our homie. But so he invited me to these classes.
Right.
So I started going and just taking improv and fucking at this WAG group, writing and acting group, where you would bring in scripts and actors would perform it. So you could see how the scenes come about. So he brought me these things, and I'm starting to just get to dive into it. And I felt like kind of was like my world, especially in improv, bro.
Yeah.
Me and him would come up with stuff, and that I guess we had like chemistry.
Yeah.
And they were looking at us like, yo, you guys are really fucking good and funny.
Right.
And what happened once was I did a solo improv at this class, and I just decided to tell my jokes.
Right.
And it was like a show because I'm having the class like die laughing.
Right.
So these jokes were actually hitting.
Yeah. Do you remember any one of those? Do you remember any of those jokes?
Yeah, I do. It ended up becoming years later like one of my bits that I started doing, and I chiseled it. I made it really way better now. We see it on stage. But it was about like how Miles Morales, like Latino Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, like how I wouldn't want to see other superheroes be Latino too.
Right, you want
because he'd be like,
I've seen that bit.
Yeah, because it'd
be funny.
If there was a Latino Superman, he'd be like Superintendent Man and shit, and like and basically Latino Spider-Man, he slings web and slings nutcrackers uptown and shit. So I got a lot of punchlines in that.
I remember that. Yeah.
That it became way more solid after time, and I started performing. But I was just doing like the first parts of that, and it was getting laughs, and I was like, oh shit. This is like cool. And that teacher, it just so the way things align is fucking ridiculous, bro. And I thank the mushroom for this. So, the first time I took like 4 grams of mushrooms, had a crazy just like this weird spiritual experience.
Huh?
Yeah. And it kind of started aligning things. In the morning, dude, after having a night of tripping, losing my shit, and I woke up feeling good, and I get a call from Gus, and he's like, yo, the Jan was the teacher's name. She's like, yo, you should come down. She told us to go to the Gotham Comedy Club.
Right.
She was like, yeah, because they're giving like some seminar. She's like, she thinks you should be doing stand-up.
Shit.
Yeah, and I'm like,
oh wow, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, you might not even know.
Yeah, I never knew. I never knew that's how that happened.
Mind you, I only got like 3 hours.
I guess because to me it was just like it made sense.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, yo, Mario's fucking funny. Like that's hilarious. He should be doing stand up. That shit is natural for him. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
This shit aligned insanely, bro. Because I get that call. Mind you, I was just tripping with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Had a wild night. Because we ate these shits like at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So I ended up only getting a few hours of sleep. But I woke up feeling good, bro. Like, just feeling like, oh, man. Like, one with the fucking...
Your mind was open.
One with the cosmos, bro. And I get that call, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Meanwhile, Gussie went out the night before, and he's fucking tired.
He's like, you really trying to go to this shit?
Yeah, he was like, yo, for real? I'm like, yo, we out, bro. So I'm feeling good. I go. And when we're taking a class, it was actually this comic, Chloe Hillard. She's dope, man. Chloe Hillard is, like, super nice. I've gotten to do... let me explain this first. So she's telling people how to start about comedy, giving everybody, like, go to open mics, all this. I ask her a few questions, and she's like, man, those are really interesting questions.
Right.
So she starts breaking them down, and I got to talk to Chloe right after this, like, little seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And I show her, like, some of my jokes in my book, and she goes, nah, this is, like, actually, like, good, and this is actually smart. And I'm like, yeah, you don't think some of it is, like, too smart? Like, I don't know if this will even work as a bit. She was like, no, you got to work on everything. But, like, she told me this, and I thought this was the coolest shit. She was like, don't be afraid to be the smartest person in the room. Everybody else will catch up.
Okay.
And I just thought that was cool. So, now this is the bugged out thing. I go to that seminar. I'm like, all right, dope, man. I should just be doing this. The next day, I go meet up with our friend Albert, at his job. And the bartender there is Roberto Garcia, another cool comic from the city.
Right.
And he's like, yo, I run some shows at Broadway Comedy Club, and I actually got a mic early in the week. Why don't you come? Like, it's like tomorrow.
Look at that. Stars aligning.
Bro, so I just ended up going.
Right.
And doing the same bits that I was working on. at the improv class, the solo improv, and I
Right.
do it in front of just a comedy, like a peer of comics, and it hits the same.
Right.
Hits actually more. So I'm like, oh shit, actually I might have something with this.
Right.
And from then, dude, it was just like I
Just kept snowballing, right?
Yeah, I just never stopped. I fucking just kept going to mics, working on like. I was a little weird in the beginning because I didn't want to. A lot of people just tell you to jump into the fire, you know what I mean? But I wanted to have at least some solid jokes because I respect the craft. Like,
Yeah,
it takes time to chisel like a good bit. Like,
of course. A lot of people fail at stand. Like, there's a lot of people who do the online thing and they're, they write skits. They're good at doing comedy in general.
Yeah.
When it comes to being on stage in front of people, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole
Yeah.
different experience. It's kind of like, it reminds me of people who are like really good at playing guitar, but when they hit a stage and they're with a band, they choke or the pressure is like, a certain level.
Yeah, with a band, sometimes they just can't create music together,
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one thing being funny off stage and one thing being funny on. I'm still trying to be more me on stage.
Right.
Like, because I know if I'm just chilling, like, I feel like I got a good vibe in any room.
Right.
So, I try to start off that way, like, doing crowd work and just talking about the situation and bringing things up has made me be better, like, just getting people to, like, feel comfortable with me.
Right.
And understand I'm going to take them
Makes
somewhere.
sense, right.
Yeah.
Actually, that's partly that brings me to my next question because I'm interested in knowing, like, being that you decided, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do stand up, and you have something, like, that it's kind of things are just lining up the way they should, and you're at the position where you're getting that respect from other comics who are on the come up as well. What were some of your inspirations that made you get that confidence? Like, what were you watching? I asked this because I know we've seen a ton of stand-up shows together.
Dude, yeah.
We used to watch Def Comedy Jam when we were little. And then later on, Bad Boys of Comedy.
Yep. Me and you used to watch a lot of the HBO stuff, too.
Yeah, the HBO specials that weren't meant for children. We were watching.
We were like, even like up until like Bill Burr's Half an Hour.
Yeah.
We saw that together.
We saw that together. We'd often just, that new, whatever it is that came out that week.
Yeah.
Up until a few years ago, we'd watch it here. Just kind of get together or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, so, dude, it's kind of crazy because I draw inspiration from, like, I think about the first things I found funny growing up.
Right.
A lot of it was, like, more slapstick shit,
Right.
Like, it was more
like Naked Gun-ish.
Yeah, dude. Naked Gun, Hot Shots.
Oh, those movies are Airplane.
Bro, Hot Shots, the scene. We
Loaded Weapon.
Yeah, Loaded
Weapon. I feel doesn't get mentioned enough.
Nah.
That movie has a scene, bro. Well, I digress.
Yeah.
Please continue,
bro. But that Hot Shot scene when they're jumping out the plane and the soldiers are going Geronimo, Geronimo,
me.
And then you see a real Native American dude and he jumps and goes me, bro. Shit like that is fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
Dude,
I remember that.
Stuff like that. And I also think about, like, growing up, like, I love things like Tex Avery.
Right. Oh, man, the cartoons. Like the wolves with the dropping jaw and the eyes popping out.
You probably can't even show that these days.
Right.
But the Wolfie, that motherfucker used to just get mad horny over that one chick.
Oh, that one woman in the bar,
and
right?
he whip out this joint with the multiple hands clapping.
Yeah.
Bro, that shit like that is goofy as fuck to me. So, yeah, I always, like, I draw inspiration from shit like that. Even, like, my favorite stand-ups.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite stand-ups, I don't sound anything like them.
Right.
Like, Mitch Hedberg is one of my favorite stand-ups.
Yeah. He's a very straightforward.
Yeah, and, he's like a one-liner, like, non-sequitur
right.
kind of comedian. And I love his shit. You know that.
Right, of course. You've been a big fan of that for a long time. I mean, people who actually, like, in addition to... I've seen that your taste varies.
Yeah.
Like Mitch Hedberg had a lot of just straightforward, funny shit. You're also a fan of people who like work the stage and use props or use the mic and the seat.
do
a la
act
Cat
outs.
Williams on his special or Willie Robo. You know what I mean? Cats like that.
Shout out Willie Robo too, man.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious dude. Yeah, so I love all those styles, man. So it's like it's kind of funny because then when you start developing your own style, you realize it's nothing like these guys, but this is what I love the most.
Right.
Which is cool because you're forming your own lane, I guess.
Yeah, you could definitely see that in the comedy that you do. You know, you could definitely hear the different inspirations. Like there's times where you're on a bit and I know this shit's gonna just be ridiculously funny at the end.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're giving the explanation. Like you had that bit about the solar system.
Yeah.
And about giving Miss America to
to alien chicks and shit.
Yeah. That was bad funny.
So a lot of my stuff is like that. Like I build to a big crescendo, you know.
Yeah.
But it's, you get different. It's weird how like being from a band into like stand up, you kind of realize how performances are,
right?
Because it is rhythmic,
right?
Because you wanna you kind of want to start off something fast,
right?
You want to get them.
Yeah, it kind of also, not to interrupt you, it kind of also makes me feel like it's the process is very similar, like the beginnings.
No,
like,
totally.
Like performing in front of a smaller crowd, more intimate gatherings. Everybody's just starting out and learning the the ropes, per se,
bro,
and getting polished over time. You know what I mean? That's what it reminds me of, like when we had the band, and that's kind of you think back to what we had in the beginning versus what we ended up with. It's like they're two different worlds.
Totally. And what playing a bad show is.
Oh my God.
Because we played bad shows back in the day together.
There were some shows where I remember,
tour, bro.
Oh man, I remember we played a show once where I literally asked, "Why are we playing this show?"
Yeah, it was just us.
It was just us.
It was one other band member.
it was us and the other bands, like on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
In the fucking deep in Queens.
Yeah. I forgot about
Red Zone. That's the one where we all played like covers.
Covers, yeah.
It happened again.
Out fun.
It happened again on tour. You're right. It happened when
in like a garage.
Our boy Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. That was Brandon and Sticks.
Yeah.
Who booked that show for us out in the fucking sticks. And it was like, it just so happened to be one of the most fucking racist places in the country. And we got booked like in a garage. It was fucked up. It was bad weird.
Yeah, so I've done those in comedy. Where I've been in different states, and like one show is like, it's like two motherfuckers, woo.
You did really well in Texas. We went out to Texas together, you, me, our boy Jeff, and I remember you randomly grabbed up a show out there.
Yeah.
It was like like Deep Ellum.
Yeah, it was in Dallas. It was Dallas.
Right, that's like I think Deep. I really don't know the geography of that place like that, but I think Deep Ellum is not far or a part of Dallas or whatever. Yeah. It's like a little like bar strip area where there's like a lot going on.
Yeah, that was fun as fuck, man. So going there was cool. That was before the comedy boom too.
Yeah.
Like there's a super comedy boom out there, right?
That was before. Before 2020. We know what happened 2020.
Yeah, I think that was like 2017.
That was 2017 for sure.
Yeah.
I had a whole different job. I was stressing on that trip.
That's going on a decade ago already.
Wow, that's crazy when you put it that way. Yeah,
it's far.
Yeah.
I've been to LA, performing in like North Carolina's cool.
Oh yeah,
Arizona.
I was there for that too.
Performing in Nevada was cool. So I've gotten. That's something cool too when you do travel, because you don't know, because I'm a New York cat, you know what I mean? Right. So you do lose minutes when you travel.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people, you could be a New York hour,
right,
and then a road 30.
Nah, it's true. Like what do you prepare for when you're going on those shows? Like what are some of your concerns when you're going on the road to do a show like that?
I remember going to like when I went to Texas with you. I started out by making fun of Ted Cruz, because I was over there.
I remember.
Because everybody I was meeting was just mad cool and they seemed open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, who the fuck is voting for Ted Cruz out here?
I remember.
Like, I haven't met one person.
I didn't think that was gonna land.
Yeah,
we both thought, and we were like, fuck it, do it anyway. Yeah. And they loved it.
Yeah, and they agreed. They're like, yeah, it's not us.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like, oh,
that was a funny turnout. It was a funny turnout, and it was just funny reaction from the crowd. Your whole set was like that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And it was cool because you don't know, you know what I mean? You kind of go over there, you're testing the waters, man.
Right.
So everywhere you go, I do like to acknowledge where I'm at.
Right.
And try to speak to people, whether it's like, understanding their slang, kind of something, understand their culture.
Yeah.
Because it changes wildly when you go different places.
Of course. It's really, you're now a fish out of water in a way.
Totally.
You gotta adjust. I remember it makes me think about all the old, I've been watching Def Comedy Jam over again. I've seen that shit maybe probably 100 times, but I've been watching it over again. And anybody who's not from New York, the first thing they come out hey, Brooklyn, what up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, man, yeah, you know, it's fucking crazy out here. You know, they definitely try to connect their comedy to the climate of the time.
Yeah.
In the city or wherever they're at. So, yeah, that you did a good job of that.
Yeah, you totally got to do that because, like, stand-up, that shit it's a social science, bro.
Yeah.
You're reading a room. You're thinking about what the zeitgeist of the people is in that room. You're trying to think about just, like, what they're feeling, what the night is feeling. There's so much that runs through your head.
There's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
It could go south. Like, you've seen those horror stories. And You know what? Speaking of going south, this brings me to the next question, actually.
Yeah.
You have a skit that went viral.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. And a lot of people, you know, seen this shit. Like, a lot of, like, this was, like, it made its way to E-Bombs. It was on World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah, that was a few years
It was
back.
all over Instagram. It was everywhere I looked. It was like, it was your skit.
That's why I always thought, like, gay hood dudes should say no hetero for certain things, you know? Like, no hetero, but once you understand the rules of football, it's a pretty good game.
That wasn't funny.
Miss, are you fucking interrupting again?
What do you want from me? It's not funny.
Shut the fuck up!
Are you gonna let him tell me to shut the fuck up for real?
My man, you can't talk to her like that.
Miss, you wanna know what's funny? Your man's tight ass fucking pants.
Watch her mouth.
Those shits look like they tatted on, bro. Like, look at them fucking shoes. Shits come from the Jafar collection.
Yo.
Back up, bro. Back up. I'll knock my goo out your ass.
Si when I'm on board, I'll give you Timmy too. You're talking about.
Whoa! That was uncalled for! His shoes do look like that, though.
My boy, why don't pay no money?
And it was about you getting heckled. It was you and your boy Stewie.
Yeah,
who
Stewie
did it.
Bill.
Right. And basically he played the role of a heckler in the crowd.
Yeah.
And you're the role of you're playing yourself pretty much on stage, doing a bit when this guy starts to heckle you and get annoyed or whatever, and you hit him with a bottle.
Yeah.
And that shit, people really thought that shit was
and then
real.
we zoomed into his shoes because he was like...
Yeah.
People don't realize how, like... I don't like how that was perceived, though, because the wrong part of it blew up.
Which part was that?
What I was trying to do to that, I thought was really smart at the time, because Stewie had these characters, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring some of the characters we were doing into our real lives.
Right.
So having interactions.
Right.
So if you watched each part that came out, I released it in parts.
Yeah, they all connect.
So the real Stewie is in it with his character, the Dominican character, Raffaello, which I got into the fight with.
Right.
So it was like I was trying to have these worlds mix and blend together.
Yeah.
And then
kind of breaking the fourth wall
of
comedy.
But nobody knows who the fuck I was, so they just thought this was like the one thing.
Right.
And it did get love and shit, and people laughed because it was like the video work and shit, the zoom in on the boot, on the sneaker and shit.
Yeah.
It was funny, but I thought it was like if you watched all the parts.
Yeah.
And then I ended the sketch on a live sketch.
Right.
Yeah, I actually went live and did a part of the sketch live.
Right, I remember.
So it was like something that I wanted, like, I thought it was like thinking out of the box for the time.
Right. Well, you know what it is? I think a big part of that is the fact that the internet, a lot of times people are just drawn to the most foul shit.
Yeah.
So the fact that you had this guy in the crowd who possibly got instant karma, you know, got hit with a bottle and now his feet are shaking in the air and shit. People fuck with that idea, like for whatever people.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that should happen.
Yeah,
if
they think
does that.
Yeah, right. They think that's what should happen if that's done. Some people are not here as much for the follow up because their minds aren't really thinking on that. Like the way I see it is that you were creating content both for the stage and online, which is kind of like a merger of the two.
Yeah.
That's something that you really weren't faced with in the 90s, 80s, whatever, like stand-up comedians. Social media wasn't a thing.
No.
So the idea of like breaking the fourth wall and integrating the internet and these different characters and platforms that all worked with each other, I think that's what you were doing. And I mean, that's something that's done a lot these days, but you did it in a really clever way. So, like...
I was basically trying to do like kind of like I love filmmakers like Tarantino and fucking Ridley Scott and shit, how they build their worlds.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look at it like, yo, I want to build my real world with these characters' world.
Yeah.
And mix it all together. And if I could get like a flow of people paying attention, it would be funny, you know?
Yeah, no, that definitely. Those are the types of things. Those are the types of ideas that spark cult followings. With like, you know, you'll see often skits like that end up becoming a series down the line.
Yeah.
You know, the right people see it, something like that takes off. You know, so that was definitely a good idea. Now my question is, you creating content for the stage, like coming up with a bit and your process for that, versus creating content for the internet. You know, content for the internet. What is your process like with that? Like, how are they different for you?
I think like stand-up is like a eureka moment, really. Because like stand-up is it really just got to hit you in a moment.
Right.
Like, you don't know when it's really going to happen.
Right.
Like, it'll be something we're talking about and then something clicks, you know? Or if you're like, dude, I've come up with bits also when I'm just like, a lot of times using weed for inspiration.
Right.
So if I'm like reading a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten jokes about like different writers and connecting it to like the real work because I'm smoking weed and that's all in my head at the time.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, maybe this will work in like some weird bit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's just how shit comes about. And like, because stand up is the art that you need to practice in front of people.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't do that shit.
It's
on your
hard
own.
though now. Like, even for comedians that are like well established, been in the game for 20, 30 years, now it's a gamble because you don't have that privacy you had before. Like
No.
before, you used to have a lot of artists, you had a lot of comedians who will go on the road, they'll take new bits on the road,
Yeah.
polish them out on the road. Now you have people recording and that shit gets online instantly.
Yeah, when it's their first or second thought.
Right.
So you're trying to throw as much shit at the wall to see what sticks.
Right.
And people will you're seeing something half baked, you know?
Yeah, no, it's true. I remember I used to see people who showed up like on Def Comedy Jam and also showed up on Conan O'Brien like 2 years later, and they were telling some of the same jokes. It's just way better.
Yeah.
Like now I feel like you don't really have that opportunity because people are so quick to put your whole set online.
Yeah, I think that's a problem amongst comics too.
Yeah.
Because everybody, you know, in the content economy, really, everybody wants to put out clips.
Right.
That's why every clip I have put out of like a joke, it's been real bits.
Right.
And they get love. The people that see it actually appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it gets shared, you know? I never like to just put out crowd work and stuff because it's flooded. It's too much of that.
Yeah.
And I keep, you know, I don't know if I'm doing that, if I'm working on chiseling a good idea.
Right.
To get it to be something more solid, to be that fucking diamond, you know?
Right.
So I don't know if it's a good thing right now. If people like, I know I try to stay away from it, and
Okay.
maybe that's why I don't post as much.
Yeah.
Because I've done tons of shows and I get laughs with shit, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe I could use this clip, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not.
a
You don't
fucking-
feel
it's not a
100%
piece.
about it, right?
Yeah,
it's.
it's
I
not-
mean, when you really think about it, what is the point of putting it up if you don't feel 100% confident about it?
Yeah.
Once it's there forever, right?
Yeah, and it's not even like the confidence thing, because yeah, you can have confidence in a crowd work thing,
Mhm.
but is it something that's like a bit? Is it showing like any technicality on
Yeah, that's
stage?
true.
Is it an act out? Is it like, do you see the ins and outs of what I'm trying to
Yeah,
do?
because a lot of
The
these
real
jokes, right, because a lot of these jokes are part of a bigger joke.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of like a big joke that's, you know, all the other stuff that's being told kind of leads back to what you were talking about earlier. So
Yeah.
that makes it hard to pinpoint. Another thing, talking about recording and comedians and, you know, information, like, you know, stuff you're working on, making its way online. We have to discuss the dreaded topic. All right.
Which one?
Which is one that everybody, I'm sure any content creator, any type of person doing something creative, whether it be music, stand-up comedy, me with my content creation, people stealing your stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what have you ever experienced somebody straight taking a joke that sounds a little too familiar for you, or, you know, kind of giving the impression that they're hating on you a little bit because you thought of something that maybe didn't come to them? Because I know there's a lot of that, right?
There is, and I think so that's something that's not too easy to just say yes it is and yes it is or it's not.
Right.
You know, it's a mixed bag because, you know, if certain events happen,
Mm-hmm.
certain things happen if it's a news something with the president or some shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Everybody's gonna want to talk about that.
Everybody's gonna think, and a lot of people can get to the same place.
Right. True.
So there's that.
There are obvious punchlines for certain topics.
Totally.
That everybody's gonna touch on. It's about the spin.
Yeah.
It's about the spin that you put on it, right?
Totally. And like people could get caught up in thinking like, oh, he stole, or this and that, or that was a tweet. You must have saw that. But it's just that, if it's about certain things,
right?
It's but so many things it could be about.
Right.
But when you personalize things and somebody takes that, that's different.
Yeah, that definitely, I would imagine that leaves a bad taste in anybody's mouth.
Yeah, but it happens when you're on your way up.
Yeah.
You go on you start out in the open mic scene.
Right. It's open to the public. Everybody's hearing it. And
people could get an idea, and they'll figure out a better punchline than you.
Right.
Because you're going up there like that's to try new things and shit.
Yeah.
So, people have taken ideas from each other and shit like that, but it's a little hard to like pinpoint like whose intellectual property it is.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when you're starting out.
True.
But
it's just one of those things where you're just like, man, fuck this. I know.
Yeah, there's no.
I fucking know. Everybody knows.
Like you could take it personal, and you could be like, "Yo, I'll fucking beat the shit out," And there's moments that's happened like that.
Yeah.
I've heard things before, and I'm like, all right, it's all good.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I talk about, for me being who I am, I talk about random ass. You know that I'm into what I'm into. I'm into metal.
You're a wide.
I'm a hood metal motherfucker that gets respect in the hood and in the metal scene.
Right.
I'm into I really know about science. Like I'm really into pop culture, and like I dive into all these things.
Yeah.
I could quote fucking Cameron or Hamlet. So it's like, so if I'm talking, I try to bring shit like that to the stage.
Yeah.
So you hear people kind of trying to sound like that. I'm like, that's a little weird.
Yeah. It kind of, it's also timing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you weren't doing that before.
Yeah.
Like, I get that anybody could do it, but let's just call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely not a good look for it. I would assume that a little too much of that, because I'm thinking about all the, like, you hear a lot about what's going on in comedy right now.
Yeah.
You have a lot of comedians who are going at each other. A lot of people, it feels like every week there's a new, accusation of someone stealing stuff or trying to fuck the next person over. And I feel like that kind of mentality's been around for a long time. I think it varies depending on the groups you're in or whatever, but I feel like in anything you do, sports, comedy, wrestling, all of that exists. It exists all the time, right?
Yeah, people are fucking people.
Right.
So no matter what you do, you could be a fucking monk in a monastery, bro. I guarantee there's an asshole monk in there.
Yeah, who's silently hating on everybody else.
Yeah, he's the silent motherfucker.
This motherfucker think he quieter than me.
Yeah, he's giving you the weird eyes.
This motherfucker think he could float better than me.
Yeah, motherfucker, look at this
see,
monk
my man
right
only
here.
got 2 feet off the ground, bro.
Well, my man think he meditate better than me? Fuck out of here, bro. I meditate so hard I sleep. Just like, but yeah, it's just in everything, bro.
Yeah.
So it sucks because comedy, you're supposed to be, you're trying to have a good time.
Right, that's what I would, like, that's the part that makes it kind of lame. That it's like, that scene is not really supposed to be surrounded by that kind of shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other scenes where, it's not like rap where you'll have a dude on the song that's like, oh, I'm the greatest you ever heard, and then the rapper right after him is like, yo, fuck anybody else on the song, I'm the greatest of all time. Like that kind of shit is different because that's a very competitive sport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like rap, hip hop, that becomes a sport in a sense where people start getting real competitive, and bars is what counts.
Bro, but there is like the one thing competition wise in comedy, and I think it's like freeing, bro, is roast battles.
Roast battles humble people. That's why.
Bro, I've been roasted in front of a lot of people, bro, and they went for my neck, bro.
Yeah.
And I just find it funny because shit I called them, I can't air it.
All right. So what?
I don't remember they had way better punchlines. I'm gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
But they talked about me being diabetic.
That's it,
bro. Everything, bro.
That's everything. They got personal. There's a roast battle.
Yeah. Bro. But I gave them all the information.
Right. You wanted to make sure they had a good arsenal. It's not about taking it personal.
Nah. And I went at them too.
Right.
Bro. Like I said, I called them some crazy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Something awkward happened to me the other day, man. You know, I tipped my Chinese food delivery guy so much, he bowed. Which was really awkward because he was Mexican. I was like, yo, chill, pal, you don't gotta do that. Just keep those $9, man. Relax, bro. I don't know. I started wondering why I'm a good tipper because sometimes I'm just broke, you know. And I think it's because I've been in the service industry. You know, I've been a barista before, and I've been a drug dealer. And if I were being honest, being a barista may be a terrible part of society, yo. It did, man. Because after a while, I started racially drink profiling people. Which is terrible, man. Anytime I saw like a white dude coming, I'm like, yeah, he's probably gonna get a grande dry cappuccino. Dry like his personality and shit. Anytime I saw somebody from the hood come in, I wouldn't know what they would want for sure, but I knew whatever it was, they'd get extra caramel on that shit, man. The hood loves caramel, yo. It's true, man. I found myself at the bar, like, yeah, I got a grande extra caramel water here. Grande extra caramel water?
It's known that people who are, stand on stage and tell these jokes often tap into a very, very personal side of themselves, right? Meaning, they turn whatever's going on in their life, whether it be depression or grief or whatever experiences they've had, and they flip it into comedy bits on stage. So what's that like for you? Because I know you've been through quite a bit in your life. We know each other well. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to see the comedic side of you, and I know you're throwing these parts of it in, but how do you balance that? Like, how do you make sure that you're not, like upsetting yourself? Because a lot of people, find ways to do it where it's like a perfect balance. How do you deliver that to the audience?
I think, I think about the most times I was going through shit, especially the last probably like 5 years. I went through a lot of bullshit. Coming off the pandemic, I was trying to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm working out. Dude, I was like almost 5 months in. I lost close to 40 pounds, feeling good. Mm-hmm. I was fucking doing like an hour and 10 minutes of cardio, running. I was doing all my shit. And I fucking gave myself a heart attack.
Oh, man, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, so that was like, dude, so coming out the pandemic, I had to fucking, like, yo, you need to really take it easy for like 6 months. Yeah. So I went through all this personal shit, and then the shit with my vision, I had another fucking 4 surgeries. So I lost a lot of time. Right. But I always found it when I would perform sometimes. When I remember coming back from one of the eye surgeries, and I was just honest with the audience. Right. Like, yo, I've been away for fucking some time, so I have all these old thoughts about things that happened already. Right. Like, I was just wondering if I could share them. And it was at the time when Russia already attacked Ukraine. Right. But I pay attention to like global politics and shit. So I was writing a bit when that shit was going on before they attacked about what would happen if they did attack. Right. And I delivered the bit and people fucking enjoyed it. Like, but it was like an old thought because it was dumb as fuck. Right. But I was just honest with them, like, yo, I've been going through this.
Yeah, you were definitely going through a rough time.
Yeah. But I don't use the stage too much or online to really share things like that. I've never told anybody, even this right now, I've never told anybody that happened other than the people that really know me. Right. I never because I don't want to put that on people.
Right. That's why I felt it was important to ask about, because I know what's going on. Yeah. But you're definitely, whether people in the audience know it or not, you're finding that balance in your own mind because you're choosing to address parts of it, just not it fully on. Like the way you kept it honest with, listen, I've been through some things, you know what I mean? That's just, you're choosing what you decide to let them in on. Yeah. But it also kind of leaves you vulnerable in a way, right?
Oh, totally.
I feel like all stand-up comedians who let you in on a certain part of their personal lives, it kind of leaves them vulnerable and open to like, whether it be, the assholes who judge online or, just people thinking about, maybe change, people might have fears that it changes their perceptions of you or whatever the case may be. Like, did you ever feel anything like that? Or
I don't know man, this is the thing. It's like, and you the same motherfucker, bro. You the same way. Mm-hmm. You feel comfortable in the room. Right. I feel comfortable everywhere I go. Right. And I feel like, because I'm not a motherfucker that's there to disrespect people. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to allow it to be done to me, though.
Right, of course.
But I'm never going to feel weird in a room. And anybody's gonna feel uncomfortable, I'd rather the other people.
Right.
It's not gonna be me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I've always, and I use comedy like I said, it's not. I think it's a getaway, really. Like I don't want to bring people to too much of a harsh place. And
Right.
this is what they want to laugh.
Yeah, they want to kind of escape whatever's going on, and that makes
Even
sense.
if I'm talking about something serious,
Mm-hmm.
which can be, I don't want to personalize it and bring down the room.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to uplift motherfuckers and like,
Right.
let's look at this a different
I think
way.
you know what? I think the better question for me to you is like not so much like using the grief or whatnot to like push out the bits that you're working on. Whatnot. Like more, the question is how are you able to kind of push that aside and just move forward with kind of push the serious things that are going on in your life, and just kind of push that to the side and say, nah, I'm gonna go do this. Fuck that,
dude. I think everybody's going through some bullshit, bro.
Right. I think it takes a lot for someone who their main goal is to make everyone else laugh, and when they come home, they have a lot on their plate.
Bro, you
know
feel
what I mean?
that? This is I always tell like motherfuckers I'm closest with in comedy, like Jerron and Lee, and it's like, yo, you could be on stage one moment, killing it.
Right.
You could be in a room and motherfuckers will come up to you, yo, that was so funny, yo, you're gonna do blah blah blah, I'll give you reps, yo, don't stop, do this, and you walk outside,
Right.
and it's it's all gone.
Yeah. It's like I get it. it.
So it's like you're always gonna be with yourself, bro.
Yeah.
And
can't escape your own mind.
if you don't continue on, you're gonna fucking, what are you gonna do, bro?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, everybody's gonna go through some shit, and if you've been lucky enough to not go through some serious shit, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's always around the corner, bro.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Ice-T recently, and they were asking him a bunch of stuff like this, and one of the things he said, he was like, you got to focus on the good because the pain is coming.
Yeah.
And that's heavy, because it really is inevitable.
There's this quote, I forgot who fucking, it was one of these writers. I want to maybe C.S. Lewis. Anyway, it was like, if you're going through a bad time, don't worry, it'll change.
Right.
If you're going through a good time,
Don't worry,
it'll change.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, it's the ebbs and flows, the ups and this shit is a roller coaster, bro.
Yeah.
And if you don't ride it till the fucking coaster is off the track,
Gotta control your smiles and cries.
yeah, that's all we got.
I feel like that was supposed to be a comedy part of Training Day, no?
Yeah, it was.
It was, right?
That awkward
he was
conversation.
telling a fucking joke in that,
Yeah.
right? He's like, "Oh, hey, let him speak, Alonzo. Smiles and cries. I hear you."
Yeah,
Yeah, like
he got it, but he was also
he was
high
also a
as fuck.
fucking PCP and shit.
Yeah, he
so.
was wet but naked, bro. Yeah, but that's life, man. You gotta keep trekking, bro. Like
Yeah.
this shit is especially like doing artistic things.
Mhm.
Like this, like you gotta just put shit out, man.
No, you do.
We're
You
gonna
gotta
be
keep
gone
it.
one day.
No, it's true. You gotta keep making stuff. Like if you really feel passionate about anything that you're doing or trying to find your footing in anything, just gotta keep putting stuff out, man.
Yeah.
Like it'll come together.
And do it for the time, man. Like that's something I'm trying to be more aware of. Is
Right.
like, dude, 200 years from now, no matter if I tell the best joke ever,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be gone. A million years from now,
Mm-hmm.
we'll be gone. Our species probably. Billions of years from now, our solar system is gone. None of this shit really matters. All that really matters is your momentary time with who you're with and the rooms you're with and that environment. And it's hard because the way we set up society is rough, bro.
Yeah.
Our monetary values, getting survival tickets with everything, trying to make it.
Mm-hmm.
We put all these fucking roadblocks and these things, healthcare and all these fucking hurdles, bro.
Yeah.
But you need to just enjoy what you're doing in the moments, because going through bad shit like I realized that at any second you really could just be gone.
Right.
And it's like, enjoy
No,
it.
yeah,
man.
I'm sure that's an eye-opening experience what you went through. I know people don't know the full story, but I know what you went through was rough and it was hard. Like it's an understatement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you went through. So for you to get back up there and be, right back at it, that's definitely dope. Like now that you've seen, the highs and lows of doing stand-up comedy, and you've done the content creation online, and you've seen what it's like when your content pops, and you've seen like when you might have a bad night on stage or whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you feel is next for you in terms of like creativity?
Dude, so like doing this is really cool. We should have been doing this for fucking decades.
This was an idea for a long ass time.
Yeah, for over a decade.
Yeah.
And now it's coming to fruition. It's awesome. So doing this is like my main focus now with like content, and you know, this is a variety show, so we're gonna be able to do a lot of different things here.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited
I feel like
about.
this is like the culmination of a lot of ideas that you've had over the years that you're able to execute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
In a lot of different areas. So
yeah,
you know, things happen when they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But and my next thing I really want to do with my comedy is do something with 30 minutes of it.
Okay.
So I have a really cool idea for like this comedy mixtape that I'm gonna host it as like my fake DJ character.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll be hosting my own thing, and it's so it'd be cool, man. Like that's just what I want to do. I kind of want to make art with my stand up.
Yeah.
Always package it in a cool way,
right?
You know, because a lot of specials, like, unless you're some top funny killer comic, a lot of specials don't seem too special.
I get it. They're kind of like that kind of makes that. Put it this way: there's a shitload of comedy specials on Netflix. I don't know most of them.
Yeah, and a lot of them are good,
Right.
but sometimes you need to package it in a certain way,
right?
Because otherwise, it's just a culmination of your material.
Yeah,
it's like the best of your. If you got 90 minutes, you're gonna take your best 30 minutes and put it out.
Right.
But put it out. That's what I want to do.
Right.
So that's my main focus with stand up, at least.
All right.
And it'll be coming soon, actually. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
So
within the next year, I would say.
You know, now, and that, you know, that you're giving us a little insight into what you want to do for the future, right? Like do it like a 30-minute special or whatever comes out of, you know, the you pursuing that. What do you think is like? Do you think it's easier now? To like, I feel like a lot of people think it's easier now to blow up because you have all these different avenues.
Yeah.
But it's not really so much about making it. You know, like you could pop with a skit or be a funny dude online with a video that goes crazy, but staying at that, you know, like staying there and doing it consistently, like I feel like that's where there's an expectation.
Yeah,
because the internet is crazy. The internet is harsh.
Yeah, the internet.
It's not like a comedy special where you
Wild
go.
West.
Yeah, you could go to a comedy special. You could go to a stand-up, you know, venue and you do your bit. People are gonna have, you know, unless you're a dipshit who heckles. Most times, people are gonna have respect, and they're gonna be quiet, even if they don't like what they're hearing. They're gonna have enough respect to just kind of clap when you get up there, clap when you get off, not really talk shit. The internet, though, is a different ballgame because now when you have specials come out online, it could be out for an hour, and on Twitter it'll be one person who has a voice. Yo, this shit is garbage, and now your whole shit is labeled as garbage because of one person's point of view when they might not even fucking understand what you're talking about.
Totally true.
So like, what do you think that does for comedians in general? Like, what do you think that does for stand-up comedy as a whole?
I think there's weird shit going on, especially with the internet, where the people are trying to get popular by shitting on comedians.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they're trying to act like that's bullshit and what they're doing is superior, right?
Yeah, like
I've seen that.
And it's just them attacking every line and shit. And look, man, get it however way you can, you know? But if you want to really do something that means something and is like a time capsule for yourself,
right?
You would want to do it with some type of artistry.
Right.
At least for myself. Like, that's the way I look at it. And I don't think you need to look at it like that because you should just be trying to, you know, especially in America, in our world, it's all, you got to get that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's detrimental to the art. And it's like that in every art form.
Yeah.
That's why you see bad music, you see bad artists.
It's the first thing that came to my mind, actually, music. Because I feel like music is probably the biggest thing on the internet that kind of catches fire.
Yep.
A song goes viral through TikTok now. You know what I mean? Second it goes viral, you have an artist that you've never heard of is like fucking everywhere now.
Yeah.
There's people getting signed off of shit like TikTok.
And not just, and people were here. I had a conversation with this girl I know who put up this song. I forgot the name of the song, but it was a cool part. And the part blew up. But everybody, when the artist released the song, they shitted on her.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, why couldn't you just remake that one part over? Like, yo, they obliterated her. So she went like this, and then,
yeah.
And I'm like, you know, it's good because you could make somebody get love for a moment of time.
Yeah.
And it's the easiest way to get to pop now. It's more people pop than ever.
Right.
You can have a huge audience and don't know who a motherfucker is.
Yeah.
You can see somebody with 10 million followers. Who the fuck is this?
You're right.
Like if you had 10 million people fucking with you back in the 90s and shit, you were Michael Jackson.
I mean that's kind of like that's the big reality. Yeah, like the dose of reality a lot of people get too, right? Because you have a lot of artists. Like I keep bringing up artists like in music because it's so similar to.
It's all the same shit.
You know, like
art forms.
You have a lot of people who have a crazy following online. Like people with sponsorships, people who have like 3-4 million followers, you know, fresh clothes. They always like 100,000 likes on a post, but they go and release an album, and that shit does not do anywhere near those numbers. No. And it's because people are really here more for the image and the moment than they are for what you came into the game trying to make.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, that's got to be scary too, right? Because at that point, when you feel like people out there just don't care about what you're putting out, you kind of got to roll with the punches and do what is, it feels like people do what's expected of them and they just kind of play now they're influencers. I feel like a lot of artists are more influencers than they are musicians.
Yeah, you become a reflection of the audience.
Right.
Instead of the audience seeing like a part of you, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you're basing your shit off of them, and like if it's your art, you should put you in it.
Right. Like people came here to see you.
Yes.
Right? And whatever you did, whether it be one part or a whole song, whatever you did drew those people to you. And now you find yourself doing what makes them happy when that group of people they don't even have the same mind. Like not everybody's the same person. Everybody's taste changes.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of music right now that is going to be irrelevant in a few years.
That's why I fuck with Andre 3000, that flute album. That was it's crazy to say, yo, I'm putting out a flute album.
He just doesn't care. He wants to do what makes him happy.
Yeah. He's that's where he's at.
Right.
So I get it. It's like, and that's his art. It's a good flute motherfucking album. It's
I think it's like nobody expected that, but it's true. Like what he said, he was like, "What am I supposed to rap about now? Now that I'm like this old, like a colonoscopy, like you know what the fuck?"
Nah, he's right.
Like he's right. I mean,
right.
It's about the like, you have to go the route that you want to take. You know what I mean? I just think that a lot of people these days are facing a real problem with creativity in general because it's either you have people who want to, like quickly shit on whatever's being put out, or they want to try to act like whatever it is that's being put out isn't really worth their time.
Yep.
And then a lot of times, if a person, it kind of creates this crazy standard because you have people who really can't keep up, people who might have had like a fire single or a great stand-up bit, that fucking went, like parts of a stand-up bit that went viral all over the internet. And then when they do a Netflix special, it's trash. People are gonna see that and go, "Fuck!" Like this dude, he ain't really as consistent as we thought.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people don't factor in everything that comes with that. Like there's a lot of shit that makes that possible. Like there's a reason why I think it's oversaturation of the same shit.
Totally oversaturation, and there's no like good having money and profit and business be the filter.
Okay.
Is not good all the time.
That's
because everybody just wants to squeeze out whatever juice they can from that fucking fruit, and it's not about the art no more. It's just about getting that fucking money and like, oh, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
You see people run their course,
right?
And people the system uses you.
Yeah.
Instead of you realizing that the system uses you and talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've seen some guys online who've done the comedy, like do a lot of skits on the internet. And they've gone on to do amazing things because they were just. It feels like they understood the way the game was played. Like they never really sacrificed their character for the stuff. They just kind of kept going with what they originally started. You know what I mean? And I think that's hard for a lot of people because you have so much judgment.
Yeah.
A lot of times too, you're just not meant to be in front of a fucking mic. Like doing a skit online isn't the same as standing up there. I've heard about a lot of dudes who do online skits and try to do stand up and they bomb.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
There you go.
And I've seen it happen, and I'm like, it's a different realm,
Yeah.
And it's it's a different realm being in front of people and flowing with them and having them all pay attention and be on board. You know.
Yeah.
It's two different ponies. You know.
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, all right. Lastly, all right. This is important though.
Yeah.
So this is probably one of the more important ones. Okay. This is like a variety show / podcast. We have a lot of ideas coming and whatnot, or whatnot. Excuse me. If you can have like a newer version of like, let's say In Living Color, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's missing. You have like Nick Cannon with Wildin' Out, and that was pretty funny. But that's a different setup. That's more like battle rap oriented. You know, like it feels like the setup with that team and this team. You often have a lot of battle rappers who, you know, go on there too, and they make that shit beyond funny because they know how to spit and they know how to make that shit. Their metaphors are fucking hilarious, so it works. But when it comes to coming up with like a sketch show, let's say, not like exactly like Saturday Night Live, but like a modern day Living Color, right?
Yeah.
Who would be 5 people you want to work with, whether they be, you know, like full-blown comedians that you've known for years that inspire you, or people from your team, like people who you'd select? Who would be your go-to to like make something like that happen
To
and
work on a
and
project?
make sure that it's gonna stay on the air, like it's gonna get the same love that like Living Color got back in the day. It's gonna get renewed. It's gonna be like, yo, this shit is what we needed. This is hilarious. It's free of all the bullshit. You never seen the skits. You never heard the bits. This is original and this is it. Like, what would be your team?
Dude, I would love, and it's crazy you bring up In Living Color because I think it would just be, and they're so like out of my range, but I would love to work with Damon Wayans,
right?
Fucking Jim Carrey. I would love to work with, there's a few of my friends. I would love to bring them all on. Everybody I came up with, like the people I could actually be friends with outside of this.
Yeah.
But Jerron Young, Lee Valentin, Stewie.
Nice.
Like, Jerron especially, I think we would work some fucking magic together.
Yeah.
I just like Louis C.K. His writing is fucking, for shows and shit.
Yeah.
It's top notch, bro. Like, what he does, he's got some of the funniest shit out there, bro. Yeah. Who else? I do like I mean, he's popular as fuck, but Mark Norman is such a good writer. So I wonder like what he would bring to like a show.
That would be pretty funny to see.
Yeah. And probably who else? Yeah, I would probably try to bring somebody serious for fucking.
That's funny. I was just gonna say you need to bring somebody real, like Russell Crowe.
Yeah, like I would love to bring somebody fucking.
You imagine Russell Crowe in a room full of comedians?
Yo, he'd probably kill it though.
I feel like he's gonna be the most pissed off dude in the room.
He just start fighting everybody.
I was in Gladiator.
That was a good. Well, you were in Gladiator.
I mean, if you have Jim Carrey, I'll say you'd probably try to kick some hippie shit, but you'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I would love that.
Because
we do some mushrooms together.
I could picture you guys just in the corner, fucking talking about stars and.
Dude, we do bring some LSD, bro. Have a good time, man. But yeah, I would love to bring somebody serious too, man. Like, even like a director, like I would, because I love horror too. You know,
yeah.
Horror is like one of my favorite genres. But bringing somebody from, like, I think comedy and horror kind of got the same rhythmic like pattern sometimes. Because you're building up to a punchline or a scare and shit. Yeah. And then you deliver it. So I would bring like an Ari Aster on and shit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Just to like direct and film.
Yeah.
That shit would be fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know what he would do, but I guarantee it'd be dope.
I started watching a movie last night, actually, called Satanic Hispanics.
Yeah, that's my uncles.
That's my whole family right there.
That's everybody I know.
Yo, listen. The movie started, it kind of had like an anthology feel to it. Yeah. It's with the Mexican dude. I'm sorry if he's not Mexican. Forgive me if he's not Mexican. I always thought he was Mexican from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's playing the role of like an immortal dude. And he's being interrogated by cops. And he's like, yo, leave me. You got to let me free. Because if not, there's something coming. It's going to destroy the earth. The third act of that shit got so whack, man. I was disappointed. Like, it kind of reminded me of Trick or Treat. Yeah. Like, that vibe. Like, it was dark and gory, but it had, like, a comedic kind of Halloween spin on it. And then the shit just got trash.
Bro, like, it's hard.
And it made me think, like, we would do a better job with this shit. Like, yeah. I'm not shitting on the whole thing. I'm just like, that story where I stopped watching, I was just like, man, this is weird, man. Yeah.
Satanic Hispanics. Yeah, we should do an episode.
We could do that. I mean, there's a lot. Remember that time we heard a lion growling in your room?
That was real, bro.
That really fucking happened. I know everybody's like, where the fuck is this episode going? But yeah, that really happened. It wasn't funny. It's funny now.
El Demonios, bro.
We
Weird
heard
shit
of-
used to happen in that place.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was about. That was,
Always some weird shit.
yeah, man.
El Cuco, bro.
El Cuco was there in full swing. Yeah, man. I mean, I hope everybody's got a little more of info on you. You know what I mean? Those
you,
of
man.
us who know you, I'm sure everybody knows that you're gonna take off. That you got a lot more coming. You know what I mean? And that
I mean, I'll be doing it until I can't.
yeah. I mean, sky's the limit, man. You know, for those who don't know you too, I hope they got a lot of good insight on who you are, and hopefully check out your stuff because you have a ton of it online. Your TikTok, you know, Phil, you want to leave your TikTok or let people know where to find you?
Yeah, everything is under Mario Benitez. It's not like I'm an evil dude online or anything, but just find me there. Another bum ass motherfucker had Mario Benitez. So
Oh yeah.
I had to go with Wario.
Oh, yeah, you had another guy who had the name already.
Yeah, Mario Benitez. I'm like, fuck this fucking guy.
Why
He
the
doesn't
fuck
do
you
anything with
Why
it,
you
bro.
got my name?
Yeah, why you just gonna have
When were
my
you born,
shit, bro?
That shit makes you get personal, right?
Yeah, and you don't even got post up like you fucking.
You're
bum.
not even using this shit. You ever wanted to message somebody? Hey, yo, can I have that?
Yeah,
You
you'll
ever
probably
want-
charge me and shit, yo.
You could have it for $500.
Yeah, you owe me
Would you pay?
5,000. Huh?
Would you pay?
Honestly, probably 200. That's max. I don't even know. I'd be like, man, fuck it, I'm Wario, bro. That's all it is, bro.
All right, well, Wario, that's all we have for this week's episode, and I hope everybody enjoyed tuning in. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Later.
I've been thinking about quitting weed, yo. Yeah, I have, man. Even though I'm high right now. I could tell there's potheads in here, so you guys know marijuana just helps with mental health, yo. It does. Cause I've had rough days before where I've had a bad show or a rough time at work, my day job and shit. And I've come home and just had these dark thoughts, yo. Nothing that I would act upon, but they're just in my head sometimes. Cause I'm like, man, I could just go to the roof and end all this shit. Why stress, you know? But as soon as I take that first hit of that weed, all that shit changes, man. It does, cause I'm like, you know, that's 5 flights of steps I'd have to walk up to jump on this shit. And I'm not trying to die tired. I just chill here and finish Tiger King again, man. Yo, thanks for listening to my shit, guys. I was fucking awesome. Give it up for your host, man.